I think we've got everybody in here who's going to be joining. So I will just start going through questions. So the first question that we have here, and maybe Aaron, if you and I want to switch off, you could probably start with the first one. Is Excel the main analytics tool that's going to be used for this workshop for the bootcamp?
Yeah, hey guys. So that's a great question. So Excel isn't going to be the main tool that's covered in the courses, but it's going to be one of 4 main tools that will actually be covered. So I think this is kind of a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the curriculum. So the way that the curriculum is designed for the whole boot camp, we'll be covering 6 different parts over the 12-week period. The first section is all about thinking like an analyst. Excuse me, where we'll cover things like how to successfully launch a career in analytics, as well as cover topics like measurement planning, data visualization, storytelling, that type of stuff. And after that introductory section, we'll then jump into the tool specific sections. So from there, we'll jump right into Excel. After Excel, we're going to jump into a Power BI focused section. After Power BI, we'll jump into Tableau. And then we'll round out the tools with MySQL. Then after we go through MySQL, we'll wrap up with a capstone project, and then another course that is focused on a career guide. So here we're going to cover things like tips and resources for basically on how to land a job. We'll do some live resume review, mock interviews, networking tips, and this is where we'll also provide some of that one-on-one job coaching stuff here. So a lot of other courses in addition to just Excel that we'll be offering.
Cool, thanks, Aaron. So hopefully that that answers. This is not an Excel boot camp. We will cover Excel and we'll go deep, but there's all those other things as well. The next question, I'll take this one. Can you explain the money back guarantee and its asterisk? So, the question here, I believe this was from Meredith. This is referring to the Maven job guarantee. So we have the full details of this on our terms of service, but basically I think what the super high level thing that you should take away is the job guarantee is designed to give you 100% of your money back if you complete the boot camp and everything you're supposed to do as part of the boot camp, and then we can't get you into a job within 6 months. So we really wanted to put a strong money back guarantee on this because at the end of the day, for people who are trying to launch a career, this is the main value proposition that we're offering is get you job ready, help you market yourself, and just make sure that you can actually land in a role and succeed. So what I will say is the job guarantee has a number of terms associated with it. So you do have to attend all of the sessions from the boot camp. You have to complete the courses, the group projects, and then afterwards, there are certain stipulations. You have to apply to a certain number of jobs each week and complete the resume review, the interview prep, like all of that stuff. So if you get halfway through the boot camp and you just decide, I want to quit, you don't get your money back. The guarantee is for people to protect people who go through and really give a great effort. And what we're promising is we're going to place you into a job. But it's got terms that would disqualify you if you just give up on the boot camp. So that was also important to us because anybody who does enroll is taking up a seat that we can't give to somebody else. So we want people to be really firmly committed here. So hopefully that makes sense. Next one, I'll throw to Aaron here. I believe this is from Eric, who's on the call. Basically, Eric's got a business. Can this be flexible because he's pretty busy during the daytime? So Aaron, what would you say about that?
Yeah, so the way that the boot camp is designed is it's specifically designed for students or individuals that are able to dedicate 30 plus hours a week to the program during normal business hours. All right, so the way that the boot camp is structured, each day you'll start off with a check-in with the boot camp kind of community manager, and then dive into the live or on-demand content components. And then additionally, if you look at the curriculum, for each section, there are group projects, for Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL, that you're going to need to coordinate and work with other students within the program on. So because of all of this, the bootcamp's really been designed for people that are, kind of either unemployed or can dedicate, their kind of the normal working hours of a day to studying and learning and attending the different pieces of the bootcamp.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. So this next one I'll take here. It seems like all the entry level, in quotes, data analyst job postings have requirements for multiple years of experience with tools like Power BI and SQL. Can I overcome this to get my first job? So this is such a good question, and it's one we've heard from a lot of people, outside of the boot camp, but just more generally, who we're working with to try and educate and get jobs. And I think this is a really important thing to understand, whether or not you decide you want to be a part of the boot camp or you want to go some other route to launch your career. Anytime you see a job posting, think of it as a wish list, not a true requirements list, right? It's comical to have entry level job and require 3-4 years of SQL and Power BI. The reality is, if you had SQL and Power BI for 3 to 4 years on the job, you're looking at like either a senior analyst or a manager position. You're not going to take the entry level job, right? So that's a wish list that they have. It's an unreasonable wish list, and really what they're looking for is your ability to solve certain business problems for them and complete certain tasks. And the way to get into this, basically to overcome this cold start problem that people have, where your second analyst job is easy to get, your third analyst job is easier, and the more experience you get, it's easier and easier. But that first one is really hard because it's hard to point to any experience. And the way you get over that and can really help yourself out is with a really strong project portfolio and just understanding how to market yourself a little bit. So that's something that we absolutely would recommend, whether you're part of this boot camp or not. And that's something we'll definitely help out with as part of the boot camp, is creating a rich project portfolio that very clearly translates your skills to what you can do for a business, the type of problems that you've solved, including everything from business problem to code files, Excel formula files, to data visualizations, and how you would put together insights and recommendations. So I'd say that's my biggest advice there, is don't be dissuaded and think, I don't have all of these things, I won't apply. You still should apply to these roles. Know it's a wish list, and know what they're really looking for is for you to be able to do the job. And that's what you have to show them. They don't care about the 3 years. They care about the skills and the value that you can bring. So that's what I'm really excited about, because we hear it all the time. So I got long-winded on that one. Apologies. So Aaron, how about this one? What resources will Maven supply for supplemental reading? I think this is from Will, who just hopped on.
Yeah, no, this was an interesting question. So at this point, hey, Will. So at this point, there really aren't any sort of like supplemental, reading materials or anything like that that are going to be packaged up as part of the boot camp. Again, with the boot camp, there's quite a lot of different course material. All of the lectures throughout the courses, homeworks, quizzes. We've got the project files, and the group projects and all that kind of stuff. So there's a ton that's going to keep you busy over the 12-week period. That said, all of the instructors, myself, John, Chris, Enrique, Dustin, everybody, we all have other go-to either, resources or reading materials or, technical books or things that, we may reference. So we can absolutely make recommendations, for supplemental reading or resources if you're interested. But for the purpose of the boot camp, we don't have anything that we're going to be kind of packaging up as part of this right now.
Yeah, and I would just add on to like what Aaron's saying is there's a component of the boot camp that's very much one size fits all that everybody's going to be going through. But you know, one of the things that we can offer is for individual students that are interested in a certain area, we're absolutely going to help you, point you to other things that will help out there. So yeah, so I think there's not like a supplemental reading list that's canned, but expect to do the things that are in the boot camp and then also go a little deeper in certain areas that you personally are going to be really passionate about. So then let's see, we've got one more question. What boot camp is advisable to a newbie in business intelligence? So I think that's a great question. This specifically, this boot camp is largely geared towards people who are trying to start a career, transition into the role. That's the main offering here, as opposed to like more of an executive program, or in the future we may do an evening program that's geared towards people who already are in data analyst roles and are trying to accelerate. There'd be slightly different focuses there. So our boot camp is one of the boot camps that I think would be advisable to consider. But just I think the thing there is there are going to be different programs that have different levels that they're designed to accommodate for, and this is kind of towards the beginner trying to launch a career. We're going to start from the ground up. You don't have to have an analyst role experience on your resume, but you should want to get that experience on your resume. And that's really the big thing that we're going to help people achieve.
So that's great, John. Cynthia, does that kind of answer your question that you asked in chat here? Cynthia said, love the Maven courses and team. What boot campish options do you have for us folks lucky enough to have a day job? Just want to make sure we address that. I think John kind of touched on that with our, we kind of have plans in the future. Okay, perfect. Kind of plans in the future to do that part-time program. But for now, this is just full-time. So cool.
So that is it for our canned questions. I'd love to open it up to anybody else on the call for if any other questions have come up, or if there's anything that you wish you'd asked before that you'd like to ask now. We'd love to take it. And feel free, you could talk, you can throw stuff in the chat, either way.
Hi, thank you. My name is Ana Paula Hurtado. I follow you guys on LinkedIn, and I'm very excited about all the work you do. It's amazing. And I was thinking to join the bootcamp, but I'm not sure if you have any availability for the classes on the weekends.
Yeah, it's a good question, Ann. So so first, thank you. So right now, the first cohort that we're launching with, it's really not designed for people with day jobs. There are going to be some live sessions during business hours. There's going to be group projects that you're expected to coordinate with your team during business hours. So it's really geared towards the person who doesn't have a job right now and is trying to have a job when this is done. In the future, we're absolutely thinking about part-time programs, and I think we would expect, based on all the interest we've gotten in part-time programs for people with jobs, we would expect to add that sometime in 2022, hopefully towards the very beginning of 2022. But right now, for this first one, we had to pick one direction to go in, and we wanted to attack the problem of helping the person who doesn't yet have a job that's trying to break in as our first step. But we certainly plan to, in the future, offer something that would be more of like an evening weekend program that's more part-time for people with jobs.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Anna. Come on, who else has some questions here? Let's see. All right, we've got some people that want to go on the waiting list for evening. Yep, we'll definitely do that.
Mhm.
Let's see. Yeah, Cynthia's question is very similar.
Yeah, I actually have a question
Sure.
for you gentlemen. So I may be all alone here on an island, but I'm a working adult, right? And I'm trying to pivot careers to a more data analyst role. And imagine what that end goal looks like, but come to find out, there's just a lot of hurdles we got to go through, especially because our career is probably already established, right? So now we're trying to pivot into a brand new field. And so I think it's not on you guys to figure it out. I think you guys have provided a pretty good, probably one of the best platforms I've encountered. And so while the course material that you guys provide is great, it's awesome for anyone who's doing self-paced, sort of learning. Would you say that this boot camp is more advantageous than the already established courses that we take on our own time? Is it more effective? And then two, just so that I'm clear, are you guys sort of suggesting that Maven and such is probably more so for beginners, or can and have established working adults been able to make successful moves with your course material?
Yeah, man. Awesome question. Aaron, you want to tackle? You want me to tackle?
Sure. I'll start with your second question about the kind of recent success stories or other folks. There's a couple of former students that come to mind that have done exactly what you're talking about, Javier. We have depending on what you follow us on LinkedIn or anything like that, you may have seen Justin Gabrowski's story, where he went from he basically changed his whole career from IT and went into a data analytics focused career. Again, he was kind of early mid career for that transition. There's another student that comes to mind, Kelly Harrington, that did the same exact thing, where he was in information security stuff for like 20 years and was just tired of it. Right, he was a project manager role there, and he ended up going through our courses and successfully transitioned his career as well into the analytics space. So there's a lot of different use cases, or there's a lot of different student success cases or stories where folks are coming in, they're not fresh out of college. This isn't necessarily their first job that they're looking for. And they, through a mix of the Maven courses, plus we've provided some, one-on-one direct coaching. I worked directly with Kelly. I know John did a lot of work with Justin on the SQL side of stuff. And, we were able to help, both of those folks, get, earn new careers in the analytics field by helping them. So, I'd say we have a proven record there for success, and we're, we've done a pretty good job at helping folks, transition their careers.
Yep. Yeah, and Aaron, that's a perfect answer there. And I'm going to add a little bit more on kind of the difference between the current self-paced offering and what we're doing in the bootcamp. So we will be leveraging a lot of the self-paced courses in the bootcamp. But then think the other things that we're going to be layering on here are some group projects. So think you'll go through Excel training with the self-paced courses. You'll have some live sessions with Chris, with Enrique, covering some other stuff with Excel. You'll complete these group projects that the Maven instructors will then be judging at the end of each of the sections: Excel, Power BI, Tableau, and SQL. We'll be critiquing, providing you guys feedback on that. And so there's this really, the self-paced courses are very project-based. This is even more project-focused, and specifically group projects, working with other people to get this stuff done, which is fantastic. You really want to be able to talk about that type of stuff when you're going in these job interviews. There's going to be a little more of a focus on us helping you build and shape your project portfolios so that we're going to do that all along the way so that at the end, when it comes time to market yourself for either launching that career or the career transition, you're going to have some great ammunition there to talk about. And then what's totally not touched today in the self-paced courses is the final module, which that's going to be an entirely live hands-on module for this first boot camp. We're going to be working with you on buttoning up the resume. We're going to be working with you on getting your LinkedIn game tight. We're going to be talking with you about how you can identify opportunities, how you should go about actually applying with them. You're even going to be able to take advantage of the Maven instructors network to really help you get placed into these roles. So, hey, I've been working with Javier in this boot camp. He's amazing. He's such an awesome SQL and Power BI guy. I know you need that. We're coming in with warm recommendations like that too. And that's, at the end of the day, I think that's the biggest thing. This is where Maven's always been about teaching job-ready skills. This is a little more into the group projects, and then leaning in extremely hard into helping you actually get into that role. And we do that with the money back guarantee. And that was really important to us. So I hope that answers that question, Javier.
Yeah. No, great answers. I appreciate it. So it looks like the only thing that I'm probably going to be missing out on is that extra help to maybe land something, in the data analytics world. I mean, is that probably safe to say that? I mean, I get that in the self-paced courses, right?
Yeah. I mean, with the self-paced courses, we're really not doing any of that. We don't have career-oriented courses. It's much more about the analytical skills. So yeah, and obviously, like we talked about, there's live sessions, some additional instruction with the instructors on each of the topics, and those group projects as well. So I think that pretty much covers the main differences.
Got it. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Sharon has got a question about the cost of the bootcamp. Let's see, at the self-paced courses available through LinkedIn Learning. So, so first, the self-paced courses, all of them are available on our on mavenanalytics.io, our platform that we've built through the all access subscriptions. Some of them are also available on other platforms like LinkedIn Learning. Not all of the courses are there, but some of the Excel courses are there. So you can get some of those. The SQL courses aren't there. Tableau's not there. So you can find Maven in a number of places, but the best place to find all of Maven's courses is on mavenanalytics.io. And then the first part of your question, the cost of the bootcamp. So it's $4,999 USD. That's the top line price. There's two payment options. One is entirely upfront. The other one is 6 installment payments of $899 for people who are looking for that. And then the other thing to call out about the price is for people who are ready to commit early, we're taking a substantial amount off of that price. So this week we're in our super early bird period where we're going to take 20% off, and that 20% off, that translates to about $1,000 off the top line. The 20% off will also apply to the installment payments. We've had people ask about that. So yes, it does. After this Friday, that super early bird is going to be over. We'll be going into our early bird period. We'll still give a little bit of a discount, but it'll only be 10% off of the price after this Friday. And then the final couple weeks, it's just going to be full price for everybody. So hopefully that answers your questions about that, Sharon. And then so Cynthia asks, working with people one-on-one, Yeah, so actually Aaron is our head of student success. He's probably the best person to answer one-on-one working with student questions.
What was the exact question? I'm not seeing that in the chat.
I see it's direct message to me. So it's, you mentioned working with people one-on-one. Is that part of the individual membership?
Got it. Yeah, so as part of the individual membership, you basically what you have access to is the instructors for questions that are specifically related to the courses, topics, anything like that contained within the courses. What we don't really provide as part of like the individual subscriptions is, project specific help. So when, if there's questions about, any sort of work that you're doing, for your job or things like that, we really can't provide support for that based on the price of the subscription and all that kind of stuff. So, but you do get access directly to to each instructor when you have questions that are related to those courses. So John for SQL, myself for Power BI, Chris for Excel, Dustin for Tableau, and so on.
Got it.
Hopefully. Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Appreciate it.
We think you're
Tell
awesome.
John.
Let's see, anybody else? Want to make sure I've got all the questions here in the chat. All right. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Okay, get that evening course going, guys.
Yeah, actually, I would, for it sounds like a few people here are interested in the evening program. I'd love to ask a few questions of you guys, like what's kind of, tell me what would make your ideal evening program, like basically everything that Aaron and I have described here, but more flexible. Like, would you expect absolutely no interaction during business hours because you have jobs? Would you want it to be evenings and weekends? Like we'd love to get some feedback as we think about shaping what the next cohort might look like for an evening group.
I would say, in my case, evenings and weekends, and it could be structured. Like you guys said, you're doing the day one in a structured format. I get that. That's good. If you start in the evening, or if you just want to do it, I don't know. I mean, some people work weekends, so I shouldn't say that, but if there's specific hours every evening.
Yep.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
And Sharon said evenings and some weekends would be great in the chat. So,
okay, great.
How about live sessions, or kind of working with groups and stuff like that? I remember kind of going through some different like college courses where you would take courses through night classes, that there would be some sort of like once a week check-in with the teacher or something like that. Everybody would would you expect some sort of daily, weekly kind of type check-in? How would you kind of envision that being structured? Weekly live sessions. Cool. Okay, but not necessarily daily, like we're talking about for the current offering.
How about how much time in a given week would you think you would want to commit to a program like this? Like all in live sessions and additional study time?
Is 6 too little?
No, I mean, if that's the answer, that's the answer. I think that's what we're trying to make sure we can structure something that will actually work for the people who are interested in this. So I don't think 6 sounds crazy.
Not sure what happened there.
Sorry guys, my internet cut out here at my house. That hasn't happened to me before. This is a great time for that to happen. Did everybody else drop or?
No, we're here.
Okay, great, cool. Sorry about that.
So Javier, it looks like I know you were kind of mid-sentence there. Sorry that you got cut off.
Oh, damn, I didn't even notice. Oh, what was the last thing you guys heard?
You were talking just about, kind of as the program gains, more notoriety, there might be some other interest.
Oh, yeah, probably from, again, just those working adults who are realizing, the benefits and importance of being tech savvy, right? And just kind of, getting into that field, that there may be a bigger audience for you guys to probably, cater to and provide those evening programs for. Again, I'm kind of like in the middle where, I don't have tons of responsibilities other than full-time work and part-time school, but I could make time. It just depends on how the program's structured, but would definitely like to see it.
Got it. No, that's great context, Javier. Thank you.
By the way, sorry, I'm just kind of rambling on here, but
For it.
Self-paced courses are great. I don't mean to be down here, but going is hard. Going through the trying to what you learn that session, right? All that takes time to really grasp and get familiar with. You guys anticipate, retain, most of the aspects of each, whether it's SQL, BI, or Excel. Are you just going to hone into certain aspects of those and then just work on projects tailored to those topics you guys discuss? Or are you really going to go in depth on each of those, and how's that going to work?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I can jump in on this, John. So we actually spent a lot of time as a team discussing the entire curriculum for the boot camp and right. So if you look at take the Excel, the week where we're going to talk about Excel, we have 11 or 12 different Excel courses in the library, right? Which it doesn't make sense to cover all of those courses over that week, right? It's unresponsible of us to ask the student to say, hey, go take this 100 hours of Excel course, and then here's a project, and then we're going to shift into Power BI and make sure you retain all of that Excel stuff. Instead, what we've done, fundamentals that you need to know, right? So for SQL, you're going to start off with the beginner SQL course, and you're going to talk through like the big 6 functions, and you're going to go through all that, and kind of then head into more advanced stuff. And it's the same way that all of the other tools are structured. With Tableau Desktop, you're going to start off with the fundamentals course, and you're going to learn to connect to data. You got
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here.
Too much Fortnite, John.
I am simultaneously playing Fortnite, but only 2 games right now, so I don't know.
Nice.
Probably for me, gentlemen, but thank you for your time. And so we just kind of go to the website, right, to enroll and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so if you're interested, you can head to mavenanalytics.io. At the top of your browser, there's a navigation link for, there's a drop down for Learn, and then there's a Maven Bootcamp link there. Excuse me, and there's some different call to actions there. You can download the syllabus, you can apply from there, and once you submit your application, we'll go through and review that, and then we are scheduling in-person interviews. Is the next step after the application is submitted from there. So, but if you have any questions, Javier, feel free to hit us up on chat in the bottom right hand of the website. There's a chat icon. You can you can normally reach somebody from the instructor team. We're generally on between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to give us a shout if you've got a question.
Oh yeah, for sure, no doubt. I've talked to a few guys already, Enrique and a few
Oh,
others.
perfect.
Yeah, I'm an annual subscriber, so I'm kind of,
Oh,
I'm there, just chopping away. So
got it.
yeah, definitely know where that's at. So I'll make sure to approach you guys for some questions. By the way, where are you guys located? And two, would you guys would you say that you do have a network that extends all the way down to, for example, where I live in Los Angeles, or just curious?
Yeah, we're in Boston. Both Aaron and I are outside of Boston. But I'd say our networks are strongest here in Boston, and then California, New York. Pretty much like name a tech hub. That's where we do have pretty good networks. Just is from our careers. Some other places maybe not quite as strong networks, but if that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. And if I could leave with this, if there's one thing that each of you would suggest for someone in my shoes, like I said, a working adult trying to pivot careers, if there's one thing that you guys would just, recommend, I'm sure there's many, right? But if there's one thing, what would you guys say is probably the most important or most valuable?
I know mine. I'll let Aaron go first and hope he doesn't pick mine.
It doesn't matter. You can go first if you want. I was going to answer this with my own experience, Javier, because I was in a very similar spot that you were, probably 7 or 8 years ago. I was a full-time, I was working full-time. I was going to school at night for my undergrad. And I was not happy with what I was doing. I was working in heavy equipment, right? I was working for Bobcat, and one of my biggest issues, and this is one of the questions that John covered about looking at all of these job descriptions and seeing, all these analyst positions that were requiring, R or SQL or, some sort of ERP experience or something like that. And one of the biggest things that helped me was just going in there into these interviews with the confidence that I was comfortable comfortable saying like, hey, I don't know everything, but I can figure it out, right? So that ability to kind of adapt and think through things and learn quickly, or saying that differently, fail quickly, is really helped me a lot early on in my career, right? Not being afraid to ask questions and really just kind of digging into stuff. But yeah, man, I was right there where you were at, 7 years ago, and it just, haven't looked back since.
Yep. Yeah, I'll throw in mine, and it's just I think when you're trying to make this switch, I'd say make sure you have a good project portfolio. I did not when I was younger. And I think it matters more when you're trying to get early roles. And then I would say make sure your resume looks good. Have someone look at the resume who's reviewed a lot of resumes for analysts. So we have, if you just go on our blog, we have a data analyst resume guide. That's free content. Everything on our blog is free content. We just put that out there to help people. Take a look at that. We give you some tips on what you should do there, how to structure it. Mine was terrible when I was younger. I think I only got good at writing resumes when I was older, and I started to actually hire people and participate in the other side of the decision. So do that. Same thing for your LinkedIn. Assume that anyone you're ever going to talk to about a potential job is going to look you up online, and LinkedIn is what's going to show up. So make sure you're tight there. We have there's 2 things I would recommend checking out on the blog: a data analyst resume guide, and then a blog article on how to get your first job. And that's stuff that you don't have to be a part of this boot camp to benefit from. Give it a read, and it should help out. I think we got a couple more questions here. Sharon, wants to know, what qualities do you look for in program applicants? That's a great question. So, so we have a brief application with some assessment questions, and those assessment questions, they're not around specific tools. They're more about kind of quantitative, logical thinking with pretty simple numbers. So that assessment right now, it does make a difference to us, how people do there. We're basically trying to understand how you think, and can you think critically about these little mini problems that we're giving you. And really it's what's your goal? We're trying to understand your commitment to this program. 12 weeks is a long time to ask you to be full-time. We want people who are really, really excited about this, and are going to give it everything that they've got. And, you know, if you have some basic thinking that we look for in those assessments, and you're going to give it a full effort, like that's all we really need. We teach this stuff, and we have for a long time. And if we have somebody like that, we're going to really make a monster out of you, and we're excited to do it. So I'd say those are the biggest things that I'm looking for. Aaron, would you say anything else that I missed on that?
No, I think you covered it all. I mean, the other piece too, to be completely honest, is, you know, kind of the fit. You know, when we, you know, talking with folks, it's the same way when you're hiring somebody, right? You know, you're looking to see, you know, on both sides of the coin, you know, same thing that, you know, everybody's doing here on this call is seeing, like, is this boot camp a good fit for me? You know, and we're making sure that, you know, from our standpoint, that this, you know, students are going to be a good fit for the program as well. So
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think you covered that great, John.
Yeah, and I think like the specific things that I said were really like trying to capture. I'm looking for somebody that I think at the end of this 12 months or 12 weeks, we would want to hire. You know, and I could see getting that person to a point where I would actually want to hire them on the job. And you know, no jerks. If Aaron and I got on an application interview and we thought this was just a brilliant person, but they're a jerk, we probably don't want to deal with that, you know, because this first cohort is a big deal to us. You're going to become the ambassadors. Like these are people we want to put up on a pedestal and be super proud of. So yeah, that's what we're gunning for. You're welcome, Sharon. Anybody else?
Hey, John, last question regarding that portfolio you mentioned. I mean, I understand the concept and all of that, but what do you mean exactly? What should I have, or where can I find more guidance as to what,
Yes.
you know, what I need to literally have in my hands physically, or in a laptop, or like what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Absolutely. Oh man. So so I haven't written, nobody at Maven has written a guide on this. This is like at the top of our short list of the next thing that we want to put the guide together for when we have a little bit of bandwidth. But I think I can quickly summarize. So I think what some people sometimes make a mistake of is like diving into technical really fast. I think the first thing that you want to lead with is explain the business problem that your project attacks in like 2 sentences. So have a headline for it. Like I helped this retail toy company optimize their sales to grow the business, right? So it's like, okay, cool. That's something anyone can understand, whether they're an analytics manager, that's the direct hiring manager, whether it's a recruiter. Like lead with the business problem. Then you go deeper into things like what your data visualization was, if it's SQL, if it's Excel formulas, if there's Python code, anything like that. Like then you go with the technical to back it up. And especially when you do that, they go, wow, this is a person that can competently solve business problems and articulated to me what they can do. And holy crap, they blew me away with the technical stuff. Versus just like, I see this a lot. People will like post a code file on LinkedIn or say like, hey, here's my project, and it just launches into code. And that's out of context is just not really going to be a fit for a lot of the audience that you want to reach. So I think that's the biggest thing that I would say. Lead with business, make sure it includes some technical stuff for nerdy guys like Aaron and I to dig into. Make sure it includes some data visualizations if you can, because that's both eye-catching for everybody, and it just shows that you know the right stuff to focus on, and that you can illustrate these insights in a way that makes it easy to communicate. So that's kind of what I would think about there. You can have it up like on GitHub, people do. You could have a PDF that you can send people. You know, those are some of the things that I would think about, Javier.
Thanks, John. And lastly, can we use what we've learned from Maven, or does it have to be a real life experience and
No,
problem that we've actually
definitely,
solved, right?
Definitely,
So,
yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Like that's one of the things, whether it's the boot camp or in our self-paced courses, like we're trying to give you projects that simulate what you might do on the job so that you can then package that up and show it to an employer. Absolutely, feel free to use anything you do with us. We love credit for it too, but you know.
Right.
oh, no doubt. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. One thing to add to that, Javier, a lot of the projects and the data sets and stuff that we add, into the data playground or that we use in the courses, they're there because those are the types of questions or projects and stuff that we've encountered, in previous jobs and stuff like that. So, whether it's about marketing or, basket analysis or checkout flows or, whatever it is, they're mimicking, we're trying to mimic real world, kind of examples as closely as possible based on our experience. So you're in a good spot there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you guys hung in with us for over 50 minutes. Really appreciate it. Awesome questions. And, I think Aaron and I say this all the time, but it's one of the most fun things about our job is when we actually get to connect with people face to face, which is one of the reasons we're really excited about the boot camp. So even just doing this has been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you making the time.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right, take care.
All right. Bye, guys.